I can hear you so well when you hold a microphone.
All right, yeah. Thank you.
You're special.
There was one day I was watching doing his ice breaking. He didn't look like he was very excited. The way the boat was moving.
And then he's looking to replace it, and lo and behold, they're like $100.
That's we don't need much.
When did those go up? And
You were getting a boat in there, there's a dam.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
$100.
I think on the real high tides, salt water does get in there.
I can
So.
I thought it was cool when I was a kid, the handful of days shrimping with my dad. We'd break out through the ice. My dad didn't think. I wouldn't think it was cool.
Are you staying for Harbor Waterfront too? Alright, find me before you leave.
There was one
Well,
day that the ice come down.
Yeah, don't lose me.
They had been froze up hard. And it,
If I turn sideways, I'll be gone.
one tide it all came down the bay. We broke ice all the way until we got past halfway. We're all going out no more.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Usually where my farm is, we don't get ice.
Now,
This was the
yeah.
first year we
Yeah.
had ice, and of course, the first year we pulled it, so it was just.
Yeah. No. Crazy stuff.
Alright, let's get this started. This is the Aquaculture Working Group meeting, April 2nd. We have everybody but Jay and Jerry aren't here today. Did everybody have a chance to take a look at the minutes?
We need someone to take minutes. Jay's not here.
Yeah. If it's being recorded, that counts as minutes. I just did my training last night, so.
Great.
Thank you. Did everybody have a chance to look at last month's minutes? They look all right to everybody. Motion?
To accept.
Second.
Second. All in favor? Unanimous. Any public comment? Abby, anything? Nothing? Just gonna take notes? Any work group member announcements? None? All right. Water classification, map, and definitions review. We just kind of decided, didn't we, that we just kind of have to define type 5, and if maps look great. Darcy, again, thank you. Does anybody see any issues with the maps? I didn't.
Do we want to dig in further and kind of like scan a little bit more, or do we think that we're doing pretty fast? Are there areas that people that we know of that should be addressed?
You want to give the next committee a chance to look at them?
Well, they're going to come at 4:30,
Okay.
but it seemed pretty good to me, but
I've stared at these for so many hours, so I didn't see anything, but you guys would know better about.
We've
like-
done pretty good, about as much outreach as we can, really, with how many times we've gone out in the public and stuff.
Yeah, I would say for our first run through it,
Yeah.
it's fair.
I mean, I'm sure we missed some spots in some, particular coves maybe, but I think that, this document, this map is supposed to be updated
Every year.
every year at least.
And I think it's something that once we approve this one, we can immediately, there's no reason we can't, as we get leases that come through or whatnot, we can add stuff as it progresses, you know?
Yeah, I
Every
did
meeting.
put, I don't know if you guys noticed, there's a pending lease for up near Bombazine in Gray.
Yeah.
That one's on there just because the DMR had that listed as pending,
That's a good idea.
just so people know that. And that over there, that one was up for renewal. It's like some old stuff that's been there for 30 years, and I guess it's finally up for renewal, so they put it in Gray. I don't know why it wouldn't get renewed.
That's in Brunswick, though.
Yeah, it is. But I figured, you know what? If I have the area, then you guys can kind of see what's going on everywhere.
Bombazine's up by Granite.
Yeah, way up next to like the third white box. There you go.
It's Max Burtis' proposal that dashed over for a time.
Yep.
Looks like that one will have to go through the system.
All right. Does anybody have any ideas for a definition for type 5? Anybody want to take a stab at it?
Didn't we,
Who's the English major of the group?
I wish I didn't take my notes from last time, but I kept it simple. I think last time I said something like, these are heavily used for commercial fishing, including, and then list all the fisheries: lobstering, pogie seining, European European oysters, clamming, and whatever they all were. Just list them each out. Keep it pretty straightforward. That's really all it is shows where everybody does that stuff. So keep it heavily used for commercial fishing. And then semicolon or comma, and say lobstering, pogie seining. Scalloping. Yeah, I don't know how to spell it. Yep. It just doesn't
Yeah,
like pogies
that's-
for some reason.
Yeah, it's never figured that word out.
I think only we use pogies in the,
Uh,
yeah. Lobstering, pogie seining, scalloping, or scallop drag. I don't know if you want to add the gear type, just the fishery. I don't know. Scallops.
you want to get technical, you can put menhaden.
Come on.
Likes that word.
I hate that.
I do too.
Filing, I'm like, what is menhaden?
Yeah.
European oysters. Clams. I didn't get specific because it doesn't show the.
You want to just put shellfish?
Yeah,
Shellfish,
yeah,
yeah.
Put
shellfish.
shellfish.
Yeah,
we don't do like soft shell.
Yeah. yeah, because we may get more detailed and add that in more definition in the next round. I just didn't. It's basically all the intertidal stuff would get reviewed anyway, so. Rockweed harvesting is on there.
So that
Did we get any input from anybody with charter businesses, like for recreational fishing?
We didn't like
type stuff?
hardcore try and reach out to them, so we can add that to kind of our tag list
I
for this
just
year.
wanted to make sure we didn't add it to our definition.
No, not currently, so we can modify the definition next year
Yeah,
too, if we
yeah.
want to create that new map layer, I'd say.
And we should put aquaculture, because I mean, there
Yep,
are
that's
areas that are already heavily used for aquaculture. We have those mapped out.
I mean, that's pretty much it. That's what we got up there. Oh, there's
Yeah.
fish weirs on there too, if you want to be specific. Might as well throw them all in there. IRS. Yep. See, it likes that one.
Are we missing?
That's all of them, so I think for now, that's probably fine. And then if we want to continue to grow this and add more stuff, we can,
So the select board can change the definitions for the public hearing at any time.
oh, nice.
The map has to be approved by the voters.
Well, that's what's on the map right now, so I feel like
Yeah.
got
Do
it
you want
covered.
to say that any future fisheries or any fisheries that might come back, or trying to think about,
Or add that we're gonna update it.
Yeah, you
once
could
a
put
year
like,
type
end that
of thing.
sentence and then say like, this layer will be updated annually. if additional information is available.
And maybe even put that people,
Come see the town or,
yeah, people can come to the aquaculture, or whatever this committee becomes,
yeah.
with information to update the map.
It'll be
Annually, comma, and,
approved by town.
yeah, or, yeah, I mean, get in there somehow that we can accept public input and
Yeah.
is open to public
See, it
input,
almost should be, I think,
something
staff's
separate?
opinion.
Okay,
A sentence after
Dan.
all these waters, after the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then
Yep.
it's just a side
Oh,
note
something at
saying
the bottom,
the
yeah,
select
yeah.
board can
Yep.
amend this as.
Yeah.
yep, all right, that sounds good. Then, yeah, just yeah, I like that, then it covers everything. Yeah, because we may want to change the
Well,
bigger, the
The
uses
select board
too,
can update the definition, but the mapping itself
is
needs to
once
be
a year.
updated by.
Yep, but like make that, cluster that at the bottom, I think.
Do we want to talk about why mapping these is important? Like, as in type 4, we say the visual quality of these harbors is important, and tourism is supported in these areas. Do you want to say?
Oh, yeah, give it
Yeah.
like a,
Why?
yeah,
Yeah.
Why we're,
that's-
like,
yep,
David, why is it
A
important to
rationale.
you? Like, why do you think we should map these layers?
Apartments,
I wouldn't put that on there.
No,
But
I
the
mean,
gist of
sometimes
it
it's
is-
easier to talk about it, and then we figure
These
out
are
what we're
our,
doing.
yeah,
I mean,
these are historically, Harpswell is a historical fishing village, and these are our legacy I mean, you have to have these on there. There's no other base map that shows.
These are the historic fishing grounds of Harpswell.
Yeah,
But why is it important? Why, as things change, as climate change happens, as there's more pressure on the resource,
there's
it
more-
becomes more and more important to protect these areas. or
Yeah.
Something like that.
there's
you
been
can
a-
write it, Billy, that sounds
been
good.
an influx in aquaculture, and because of limited regulations that the department has implemented, we've gone a little bit above and beyond in actually identifying our historical fish.
But if
You
we
could say, like, these areas are of high importance. Protecting them is,
Yeah, it's a priority for the town.
priority because of economic impact, why is that important?
important.
Ecological impact.
Ecological,
that probably is
economic.
important.
Yeah.
right? This is far reaching. And there's gonna be more and more pressure on the resource too, so I wanna say, this is gonna become more and more important going forward because it's protecting
We-
economic value, the ecological,
We can say
Off
we
of the
did
bay.
this to reduce conflict. Say it like that.
I don't know if it's meant to reduce conflict, I think it's meant to
think it's
really give you a snapshot.
documenting-
It's not
Yeah.
telling you what it's gonna be in 20 years, it's telling you what is going on right now.
Yeah.
And that we need to make sure that we protect it, because
Yeah.
we can see from 2011 to 2025, the bay looks a lot different. And it's gonna continue to,
Yeah, historical
need to,
and
like,
current.
this layer is really important. This
But
is
I
the
mean,
most
in
important layer.
20 Absolutely.
But it definitely does, I mean, the bay looks a lot different now than it used to. I
Oh,
mean,
definitely, yeah, just not that.
There was no aquaculture leases really.
That looks like
A few.
nothing.
Our marina looked a lot different, you know what I mean? It's like, fewer docks back then. I mean, the amount of docks
Yeah.
being built in the past,
Say historical
15
and current
years is
fishing grounds.
crazy.
Sure.
Due to their ecological and economic importance. Yep. Oh,
Has anybody had a chance to look at that information Casco Bay gathered? Out of Casco Bay? I thought that was.
No, I think they were gonna start it, weren't they?
No, they were just finishing it up.
They were just
Oh, they
wrapping
were?
some stuff up.
That's right, I remember now, yeah. I haven't heard anything, no.
I think we need to say something that there's gonna be increased pressure on the resource going forward, so it's really, really important to make sure this is accurate as possible. Like, there's gonna be more people wanting boats in the water, there's gonna be more people wanting docks, more aquaculture. There's gonna be there's gonna be a lot more activity and pressure on the resource.
As activities increase, it's important to preserve these areas.
I mean, maybe we're already saying that, but like,
Mm.
we should say that we anticipate the pressure to continue to grow. I guess
Yeah.
there's gonna, like, just because we did this map doesn't mean people aren't gonna build a dock. There's gonna be, the next time we update the map, there's gonna be another 50 docks out there. Gonna-
That sounds like a narrative to describe what document. You don't want to put that in just a one category,
No, I know.
or encompassing.
Do we have to have that? Like, what is our goal for this? This is just a definition of
The
each of the
definitions, 'cause
colors.
the admin wants the definitions to go with the map so that the people know what they're voting on.
Okay.
Even though the select.
This layer is a priority to preserve the historical and current. Do future or just current? Is
Why not historical, current, and future fishing grounds?
that what we're trying to do though?
I mean, yeah, we're trying to make sure there's still room for them, no matter what
Yeah.
else goes on in Harpswell, so.
Historical, current, and future fishing grounds?
Yeah. Oxford comma man, you gotta put it after current.
Yeah, but you can't have comment and an and.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
can.
No, you don't.
You don't?
Yeah.
Yeah, I always thought you could. Yeah, I'm,
Wait a minit, we got different generations chiming in.
yeah. I'm with
Google
Sammy's
Oxford comma right
generation.
now.
No comma. That thing's driving me crazy. Get rid of that.
I worked
Probably
as
not,
an
we went
editor
to
for a
one,
while of technical journals.
Oh, I'm mad.
Yeah. Go Google Oxford comma examples and you'll see why it's important to have a comma there when you're doing that.
I'm not voting for this definition if that comma's
I won't bring it to the select board.
I mean, maybe less is more, but we just really need to emphasize how important this is.
Do we say this is the most important layer,
Well, you don't want to.
or this is the
I
most
mean,
important?
you don't
right?
want like the other people to feel left out or.
That sounds.
I mean, I don't know. It kind of is
Can't
like
say it
it's.
out loud, but I can write stuff down.
Well, I think it's important. Whatever way that we all communicate is the best.
No, it's just hard for me to put a definition together like that out loud without writing it down.
He wrote, "These areas are of high importance to the many commercial fisheries that depend on them due to their economic and ecological importance, and in the face of increased use of the shared waters of Harpswell." I like that. Preservation of these areas for the purpose of commercial fishing activities is a high priority for the town. I like mentioning shared waters.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
that's
that's
nice.
pretty
Shared waters
good.
is a good
Not to
term.
blow up what you guys
Well,
have been
no,
working
but-
on, but like as everybody's chiming in, I'm just like, I gotta write something down. 'cause
I like
Yeah.
the use of shared waters in there. I think it's really not mentioned anywhere, and this maybe is where it all comes together.
Yeah, I'm gonna need to see.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Or to add to it. or whatever I
Yeah,
wanna
you
do
can
it.
add to it or don't, but
yeah, I mean, shared waters is a really good term.
You can just use the whole thing. He wrote that pretty well.
Yeah.
only for 3 years, I won't say.
It covered. It's kind of just a different
Really
way of
close to
saying
that
what we
school.
got. So
I
go
did.
ahead and
It's really
start with this layer
sad,
and
You
because
wanna
just.
say
I was
layer?
I don't know. What do we call the other
the
one?
high school.
Like it should be a similar reference. You know what I mean?
250 kids enrolled.
It doesn't even say.
Dropped like
Did you say
You would
areas?
think.
Yeah,
if
let's stick it with
anywhere
the
in
same
state
types
would
of.
Have a Catholic high
Yeah.
school. Auburn area.
Yeah.
Sad.
Yeah, type in Chris's stuff. That looks good. Good job, Chris. Clean shirt, nice language. Jeez,
Who
it's
is
like you've
this
been
guy?
hiding under a
I'm
bushel.
good at, I can write stuff down. I have a hard, like,
always good to write stuff down, and then you can just take stuff away, you know what I mean? Like, get it on paper. You were cruising, Paul.
Right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
just fix that up there. That is what it is.
I think it looks pretty good. Well done.
Sorry, I was,
No,
I didnn't wanna like,
you don't have to
interrupt
apologize
the,
for doing a good job.
well, you guys were like, working on trying to get stuff written down while I'm over here just scribbling away, but. Trying to get it down on paper. Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I agree with
Command P, print.
Billy, though. It's good, it might be good to have like an overarching, like, here's why we did this.
Like yeah, I mean, I don't know. if
Not
it's
in,
like-
not like written
They
into
put it at the
there.
Right,
bottom
but
type
Like,
of
yeah,
thing.
yeah, either a preamble or,
Yeah.
you know,
And then we're gonna review it every
yeah,
year.
and then how to add input.
Yeah.
You write a memo as a committee, and give it to you, give it to the select board.
Good idea.
Yeah, is
Yeah.
that the best process? All right.
Yeah, that's fine. Does that look good to you,
Chris?
David?
And so that would, so essentially moving forward, like, the approval of the map would become, like, if we do continue to update it, like, on an annual basis, the approval of the map would be like an item.
Like
Yep.
next town
Yeah.
meeting, next
Yep.
March, yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'd approve this one in June, is the idea.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right,
Just to
right.
get it.
Yeah.
So moving forward,
And
it
tho-
would just be kind of an item.
Yeah.
And those are the things we want to write in a memo to the select boards, they know that we feel the
Right,
importance
this
of that,
is
Yeah.
that it's
the
recorded.
intention. Yeah,
Do you guys want to make it so that people can give input like at any point in the year? I can have like a rolling draft version going. I'd hate to just suddenly get like 100 updates like the week before we're supposed to.
right,
know what I
yeah,
mean?
well, and
So-
it's important for the practical purpose of using it to work with applicants and stuff like that,
Yeah.
that the information is as up to date as possible. I mean, you know, say, you know,
I
8
can.
new LPAs, or even just 2 or 3 new LPAs had been issued.
Yeah.
But then somebody else was trying to add something.
Yeah. The LPAs can update anyway, but if we wanted to update like a new chunk of fishing area,
Right, yeah,
someone makes a note about it, I can actually create like a pop-out section so that it's not officially part of the map, but it shows up as, hey, here's something that's been discussed, and then we can vote on it officially at the proper time of the year, if you guys
Right.
want to do something like that.
yeah.
So we
I
can
mean, you're
accept-
gonna run into things like, I mean, as we're, I kind of envision the collaborative process
Yep.
of working with.
I think by the end of the
like,
summer, people are
you're
gonna have some thoughts on things.
If there's, you know, if there's gonna be a conflict in an area, then there's gonna be a conflict in
Yeah.
an area, whether we covered it exactly or not.
Yep.
So far.
Yeah, so just make sure we include that people can come forward with additions or modifications at any point, and that it'll get voted on annually.
And if the select board make this some sort.
Yeah,
it could-
that's,
Yeah.
that will be under new business.
Yeah.
Do
One
we,
thing that I would mention to backtrack, and I can wait, but, because I wasn't here till the very end of the last meeting, just in taking a look. I feel like the whole maybe a little underrepresented. Just because,
Those are
Yeah, we talked about it
specifically,
actually.
yeah,
That's one of the things we wanted to do in the map, is that we felt like there were some places where there's some fishing, you know, guys that fish a lot, and there's like a lot of boats and a, you know, and a pier. We
Right.
should add the purple in there.
Right, well, yeah, because there's places, you know, pretty much anywhere that there's much going on, you know, I think it shows it with the high intensity voting, but like, somewhere like, you know, where Weber's is.
Right.
Yeah, that was
Much,
right where we
Yeah,
had
we were gonna
talked.
do that, we were like, oh,
This
let's
is
go
much-
back and do it.
This
Yeah.
is much of harbor, this is much of harbor, and then like up here where the marina is, this is much of harbor as, you know,
Exactly.
down here is.
Yeah.
Big, that's a harbor, that's a harbor, that's a harbor. And then, you know, I mean, it's not just commercial, like, I think of like, out of recreational as well, I mean, Water Cove, there's a recreational harbor, Wolves Cove, recreational. Here could be, Cove could be.
Oh, yeah.
harbor. Yeah, and I was looking over there at the moorings too, is it possible that like, is it possible that in an area like here, that the number of moorings is underrepresented just because like of the sheer density of the dots? Because like, you know, I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 green dots, and it's like, if there's only 8 moorings there, then most of the guys that fish out of Weber's are swinging on unregistered moorings. So is it like,
let me
is it
figure
just
out.
because there's such a high density that I can't see?
I
Depending on where you
just
are.
looking at, like, look at Macro Cove, you know what I mean? I think a lot of it is that high. Look how many they are.
Well, right,
that's all
yeah,
that's
they're
written.
just
Oh, you
piled
get-
on top of each other, but this, you know, area between. I don't know.
Oh, there's a lot
Seems
more
like
there,
there's
so
a
if you
lot
look in this,
Yeah.
on my
more
computer,
there than-
you just gotta keep.
I think, yeah, I
Okay,
think
so as
just
you
the way the
zoom
map
in-
got,
As you
yeah,
zoom in.
yeah.
I was just kind of like thinking like, you know, like
Yeah.
that would show the fact that it ought maybe be considered a harbor and
Yeah.
not
No, that's
just
actually,
high intensity boating.
We
I think that's a good-
debated that very area for quite
Okay.
a while.
All right,
well, I think that we,
that would be my only,
I thought that we said in the meeting, that this meeting, we wanted to go back and we wanted to make, what, you know, go identify those places and make them purple. Like, I think we should do that.
We have
Yeah.
time, we can still do
I
that.
think we should do
We
what
have,
Chris said,
we have
do that.
today.
Yep,
I mean,
We gotta finish it today.
we got
yeah,
25
Well,
minutes.
Draw,
I mean, I would
go draw on the
assume-
map.
Yeah,
I would assume by the end of the workshop with, you know,
Yeah.
It's a really good point, Chris.
because, you know, they're gonna maybe have suggestions too, and,
Yeah.
you know.
We'd mentioned at Lookout Point that we thought that should be purple, because.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that got changed.
Yeah,
would say-
that did get
It
changed.
did.
if
Yep.
you guys in the next group want to actually mark on that, then I'll do the updates in the final version, and that way we'll just,
Yeah.
I don't want to
Yep.
reprint these.
I
again.
just, at the end of the day, it's like if, you know, if Lookout is a commercial and recreational harbor, then, you know, Whiddens or
Yeah,
Weber's.
Whiddens a good point.
Wynn's is,
you know.
I think, did we make Wynn's purple, or did I just make it green?
Not yet,
I think I made it bright green.
right, which,
Yeah.
you know, I mean, I appreciate the fact that calling it high-intensity boating, you know, does draw attention to the area, but it doesn't necessarily. I mean, if we have a category that is
Well, we
commercial and recreational.
Whatever
harbor,
we're gonna change, we should change it now, because we have to vote to approve the map at the end of this meeting.
Easier
So
to-
I can bring it to the select board for
Okay.
us to approve it, to put on the thing.
Do you have like a marker or something better than a pen? You want me to literally draw? on it?
Ask.
Yep, literally draw on it, and that way,
Darcy's
I don't wanna
face.
draw on it.
Yeah, I know.
Make sure you draw the right spot too, Chris.
Well, that's,
Is
there-
that's the
well,
other,
hang
that's
on,
the
hang
other
on,
reason
hang
I
on.
was looking at the.
maybe
at the
pencil,
moorings
maybe
was to-
just, maybe
Yeah.
pencils, just in case you like, you know.
Okay.
Well,
like,
hey-
"Ah."
Is there any way that you can bring it up on your
I can, yeah. if,
computer and we just
Paul-
change it right there?
Yeah, if Paul gives,
Is that better?
yeah, because now that it's,
Let's do that instead.
okay.
We can change it on
we'll
on
still
hers,
need
and
an
then we'll at least have the file of it that we can forward to the select board, you know, with the
Alright.
changes on it. We don't have to bring a actual paper map to them. In some ways, it's almost easier to have it digital because you can zoom on, you know,
It's
like
much
those
nicer to
areas.
look at it, yeah, because you don't have
Well,
the
like where Chris
oversized
was
stuff.
talking, you know, and you can see, well, okay, you know, it doesn't look that bad, but when you zoom in, there is a pile of moorings right here, and that's why they made it purple.
Yeah, the moorings are
Well, I
hard.
was just thinking about like that giving a clearer
We
picture
have
of
to do
like
something up there, is it gonna?
where the line
like,
should be, you know, like,
disconnect or make it
otherwise I have a hard time.
Well, that's kind of how we
Okay,
changed.
Hold on, let's try that.
Exactly.
2011 is we said, oh, there's 5 moorings here. There's definitely more than, there's a lot of, you know, it's one of the ways we changed the,
Yeah.
you know, the colors. It was moorings and fishing activity.
Anyways, sorry to You've been here last week. I could have said that last week before you printed that map, right?
Well, I feel like we've all given some time to this, so don't go too hard on yourself. This one. Oh, there's. There. All right, well, this might not be as quick as we thought here. Maybe go ahead and take a pencil up there, and I'll try and keep working on this.
Right.
I don't want to hold us up because the clock is running.
Will this be the only map like it in the state, Paul? Will this be the
Yeah.
first
Yes.
map in the
Yeah.
state?
Yeah, Harpswell leads.
Are we gonna get like gold plate this thing and like frame it?
Do you want me to?
We argued for him to use ours as a
I would do it
template
on the.
at the State House the other day.
And
The bill
so-
they had.
So with everybody else's input,
On that one.
This guy?
as far as like,
Should I remove it?
say
or-
Widen's
Wins, 100%.
would be, use the same boundary as what got changed
The pink.
to,
Thanks
right.
for
Oh, yeah,
That's
yeah.
a perfect example. So we went
How's
from
that feel?
type 1.
Should be pretty
We're
proud.
going from type 1 to
Okay,
type
there we
4,
go.
right,
right?
right.
But we think that's a good choice, right? Because there's
I mean,
20 boats that fish out of there? Is there 20 boats?
Yeah.
Widdens?
What,
There we
no.
go. Not
Say
20,
like,
10.
I don't even, 10, so that's why I'm kind of thinking like, I mean, it's up to you guys, like
There we
Mountain
go.
Cove is a much higher fishing.
well,
spot
right,
than
but I
Widdens.
mean,
But yes,
I
if
get
it-
that
if
there's
you're just
different-
going off of like, yes, places people go out of.
right.
then
Well, there's
yes.
different, obviously there's different degrees of commercial and
All right,
recreational
I'm
harbors.
live now, so we
But
can.
if it's
we can do
just, if it is a commercial or
Correct.
recreational
Right.
harbor, then
Where are we looking at right
Probably working this one.
now? That's the finished one, yeah, that's the updated.
do you want to use the same boundaries? What got changed?
It's on here now.
Yep, we can do this
Yeah.
one. So we just want Widdens to be purple, or we want to?
Oh,
change
she's
the
got it
size,
on there,
or what are we
Chris.
doing?
Purple.
Make it purple, all right.
She's got it on here, Chris.
Yeah.
Okay, so don't mark it up here.
Yeah, so yeah, stand by in case I need to. All right, let's see. Here and edit that layer. And we want purple.
I just want to, like, have a say why we're doing this.
Accurately. Description. For the area.
Because we're saying that because of the number of moorings, 1, 2, the type of fishing that's going on, the number of boats that are fishing out of there.
I guess I'm just thinking of the use of it as a harbor.
As a
So
harbor.
There's
any
people coming,
commercial
there's people
fishing.
accessing the water
Yeah.
from that area, like, as a.
Do we
harbor-
want
as
to
a harbor,
add like a
as a
definition, like more than a dozen
I guess-
commercial fishing
Well, I'm just,
boats?
I mean, I agree with you. I'm just, we have
What
to
is
be
it?
able to
Yeah,
justify
but
why
what
we're
does it-
doing
What does it say? I guess if you look at the definition
it.
of a category 4.
It should be in your packet
is
too.
it-
Yeah.
Yeah, all right.
Harbors support the maximum variety of uses within a combined geographic area. Most of the harbors developed around the town's historic fishing villages. With these harbor waters, moorings, and mooring fields are congested and include commercial fishing and recreational.
Yeah, so, I mean, that.
Yeah,
that's
they
a
fit the
pretty apt-
definition.
Yeah, I mean, it's a fishing village in itself that,
They got a nice
That's a
little
bunch of-
sign.
Yeah,
yeah, you know,
Okay,
so,
and Weber's is that,
I mean, it's
Well,
more accurate than.
I think Weber's 100%.
yeah,
all right.
it's
all
more
the way
accurate than
up the
intensive
grade on the
boating,
boatyard, really.
Well, no, I mean,
I mean, I think more through.
All right, where's Weber's on here?
Over in
Weber's is by
Quahog
Quahog
Bay
Bay.
on the inside of Pole Island,
Between Pole Island and.
Down.
Point.
so,
right where it's green. We have it green there
yeah, so
now.
we changed that to
here?
green.
Yeah, so,
Over here?
Yeah.
yeah.
That's, so just on here or like the whole thing?
Hard
Well,
Cove shouldn't be green, right?
No,
I mean, that's
I think we did that for.
recreational, but it's, I mean, I guess,
and there's a lot of clamming in there too, isn't there? In Card Cove.
I think it was the moorings, there's lobster guys that go up in there, there's clamming. But it's up to you guys. I can cut polygons and change colors, so however you want to do it.
I guess I think of it more of a harbor than, like, I think of high intensity boating as more traffic.
Weber's is definitely a type 4.
Weber's. But
So I would change,
But I mean, it's
Like,
it's
cut it right here?
recreational.
I would do that for sure.
Cut this and make
Definitely
this
not
purple.
type 4 inside the cove.
Okay,
Well, I mean, there's a lot of recreational boats.
Well, I know, but that's.
so we
type
can make
3
like
is- well,
this purple,
Type
and
3 is-
then.
Type 3,
that
high-intensity
green.
boating areas are characterized by dense concentrations of boating activity. So, I mean, I agree with Billy. Up at the head is more type 3, high-intensity boating areas characterized by dense concentrations of boating activity.
Alright. Cut some other stuff off.
Mooring fields are large, often considered at capacity.
So if Weber's is type 4 and Whidden's is type 4, is Lookout Point type 4?
I mean.
It is right now. Yeah.
I would.
She already changed.
Oh,
it.
sure, change it, all right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, when you
Keep looking at
read,
this other map.
when you read type 3, here, I'll finish reading type 3. High-intensity boating areas are characterized by dense concentrations of boating activity. Mooring fields are large, often considered at capacity, and associated with heavily used points of access, either private or public. The dominant type of boating activity, commercial or recreational, depends largely on adjacent land use and use at the access point. Land uses might include marinas, commercial fishing wholesalers, boatyards, town landings, and water-dependent businesses.
Sounds
What
a
is
lot
the
like-
difference
sounds a
between
lot like a
three?
harbor.
Yeah. There's not a huge difference in
It's
definition,
not, other than just.
the word harbor. So that's the
Great
only
Island
thing that
should be type
makes,
4 then.
What should?
Great Island, right?
That's what I was thinking. Yeah, great.
I think the Great Island should definitely be type 4.
Alright, slow down, let me finish Weber's.
Come on, Darcy, you're getting paid the big bucks.
My sticker.
In my mind, the commercial place is kind of like optimized.
Alright, we're happy with this designation here before we move on?
I like that.
Okay, and then we're going up to Great Island.
Let's go, keep going north.
North
Yep.
of the shore.
Okay, we wanna cut it like right here and make are we saying this needs to be purple? Is that what we're
Yeah.
saying?
I'd
So
say
like
the
right
whole-
here, or cut it
the whole
across?
area that we made green,
No, this really, I mean,
Except
This is the
for-
marina. This
there's
is
definitely a
just
difference between,
moorings in a marina.
between
Yeah.
the east side and the west side.
yeah, it's mostly on the west side there.
Right down
There is
there.
quite
So
a bit of
straight down
activity
here?
though in Brickyard Cove because
Well, I
we're
know,
by
but
the
it's not.
sea.
The only people coming and going from there are the people that are from there.
Yeah,
Living there.
Yeah.
Right.
yeah, there's
right.
no,
I guess that's like the difference with like, in my mind, with like a harbor. That's people come
Right.
To do their job.
Yeah.
to that
Exactly.
access
yeah,
to
make the,
water.
I'd say just the cove would be purple.
Okay, just cut right straight down from Tondro and make you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Okay,
That's because of the marina, the number of moorings, the people that are coming and going from, other parts of town or wherever.
It's in the name, right?
Yep.
Safe harbor.
Black Rock now.
Oh, is it?
is it? Oh, badass.
Black Rock Bottom.
Oh. Right.
You teach us all your tricks, Darcy.
Oh, this is all the bullshit stuff that I did for hours and hours and hours.
I think the town needs to hire a GIS person.
I think
Yeah.
so.
You think?
All right, so where are we headed next on the coast here?
Anywhere else you see, Chris?
Well, I mean, I guess the only other places,
Do we want to do?
after having read the definition, could be or,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I was kind of thinking Lumbo's Hole, as a recreational harbor, but there again,
I think they're okay.
There's no-
being-
There's no
There's
real
no-
public
right,
access.
exactly, the public access part
Definitely not.
is, so could
What's,
be-
go back up to Cundy's Harbor. Like in Ridley Cove. down with
Oh,
that.
Yeah.
That, because
Man.
you have the boat launch at Bethel Point there too, where that's, that green chunk right there. And then there's a bunch of slips at Peter Darling's that are recreational, and then there's commercial boats that come out of Brian Soper's that's right there.
Do you want this whole thing to be purple then, or are we carving this up some more? Or what are we thinking?
I don't think it should all be purple.
No, I
All
don't
right,
think it
somebody,
should all
like,
be purple.
show me some lines there where you want
So
them.
definitely like purple.
Where the
Oh,
little,
sorry, really
yeah, it's a
screen
touch
moved.
screen, yeah. There we go.
Oh, Matt's gonna show you.
Okay,
Right up in here should be.
okay, so like around here,
Do you think we should make the end of Bethel Point? There's a ton. It's public access, there's moorings there. The boxes have a wharf that they set, going from setting traps and stuff.
all right, so maybe like cut right
Yeah,
here
you
for
can
make,
leave this whole cone the green like it is.
This'll
Maybe
be
just have the
purple.
right side and the left side.
okay, what do we do with these moorings, green or purple? I
Purple.
don't,
Yeah, a lot of those are commercial fishing.
Okay.
Those are all commercial.
so maybe go from like here down
Yeah.
and make this purple, all right. And over here, we'll do.
What did we change High Head Yacht Club? It was. Yeah, do we make High Head Yacht Club, Billy?
It's pretty quiet there.
It is quiet there. I don't go over there much, so I don't know.
Goslings, keep that green. Is that green or is that blue? Should it be 3?
I don't know, I don't know.
It's not commercial, guys, it's just Cocktail Cove people, you know.
No, I know, but I'm just saying it's commercial and it's a harbor at times.
Yeah, but it's, I don't know, like, you probably still.
Yeah,
Any new ones.
It's closed harbor.
It is.
There's no more moorings allowed in there.
So someday they'll all be gone for the people who.
Yep.
Oh, really? You can't supplement?
Really? Based on what?
Kissing contest.
Yeah.
Wow.
All right, so we're good here, where are we looking at? You got a new spot, or we're just debating?
No, I mean, yeah, I mean, there were a couple of other places that I was kind of thinking type 4E, but if you kind of use the, like, if you kind of exclude, I'm trying to think of places.
Also, we can
about
add this
Stover's?
as an update
Jim
for
Clemens?
next year, if we wanna like
Is
really.
that lime green type 3?
Yeah,
What's
it's
Stover's? I think type 3 is right for that.
That's good. Does it encompass Jim's place? I think it's shy of it, isn't it?
Low.
Go to Stover's.
Yeah, right there.
Probably does.
Can you zoom in where it says Stover? Yeah, because he's one of those 3 piers right there, like they're all jammed in there.
Oh, one of these guys? I don't have any data. Paul, do you know which one this is? Can you pull? Paul can check and see who they actually belong.
He's got 4 boats that fish out of there.
I forget about where it ends.
Like frozen, there's so much
This-
information, jeez. Sunspots. Apocalypse. I think you gave me this line, Billy. You might have looked it up actually at the last meeting.
Maybe, it's pretty close, but
Yeah.
they want to
We can move it too.
make sure it's at least getting his pier.
Oh, yeah. You can probably just
Excuse me.
Earth and tell.
Is there anywhere else besides that spot?
Yeah, while Paul's
While we're trying to
researching.
figure it out.
Kind of thinking about like Lowell's Cove, but there really just there isn't
Yeah.
public access point. Are still
Could be.
a handful of wharves that are used for.
That's that.
Water.
Okay. I can tell like by the road shapes
Yeah.
and stuff.
Are you
kind of.
pleased with?
Yeah,
That's.
yeah, I think so,
ooh,
yeah.
I think we're right on it. I probably should bump it down maybe. Well, no, because like this nub is right here.
Well,
And his
that,
wharf is
I
what,
would
up in here?
use, I would refer to like.
I think we're right
I would
on the
refer to
line.
the mooring.
Yeah, because there's this
You know,
little
how the
cluster
mooring
of like,
field
Yep.
looks
Yep, so
on,
we're in it, like that
Because it's
bottom,
hard to
this
tell on
one's
that map,
included.
but on like a
I think we're
blown up
there. Yep.
one.
Yeah,
I
the
would
one
just try
she
and-
had.
I would just try and make
So
sure.
leave that one alone.
I would,
Okay.
unless they want to move.
Maybe have Paul look on that
Okay.
more.
Right.
The Oars Bay Yacht Club, is that encompassed in the type 3 or type 4?
Really
No,
good,
it's
but-
I was
Right.
just talking about whether like maybe it should
Yeah.
encompass
The rest of the
more of
mooring
the mooring
field.
field, maybe,
Because
That
there are
was
people
like-
coming and going.
Go up to where
It
you
is an anchorage. It is
Yeah.
a designated anchorage,
Yeah.
so.
go up to
Um,
where it gets like just a
At least up
Like
to the
north
nun
of the
there.
red can there, right? Yeah, right.
Oh,
there.
yeah, like,
I
okay,
mean, what are the dots that are like,
what?
I mean, there's that,
These are wharfs, the little red guys.
right. I'm just having a hard time picturing there being moorings like that far to the,
It's
West.
not, it's not perfect, because I noticed
Okay,
with Great Island
alright.
Boatyard,
alright,
it showed a really nice channel going.
right. I'm just, yeah, okay. I was just trying to,
It's got to go past the nun, though, right?
just past, I mean, I guess I would call the,
I would go to at least the nun.
some of these dots aren't like, there's no more,
Right.
there aren't more.
Well, but we can just classify like the area. You want me to cut it like where they
Yeah.
stop getting
Yeah, right
so
there.
dense, kind of?
Well, let's see, this is T-ledge. This is T-ledge. So, yeah, I mean, at least.
Yeah,
Like
I agree.
right across, okay. All right, like from the
that's a
38,
public access point.
Where that
so-
straight line of them.
all right.
What are those blue squares?
These are some of the areas we come.
Those
like,
are
by
fish
quickly.
weirs.
It's nice.
Oh,
Yeah,
yep, yep.
well, I feel really bad now that I'm like dragging up a bunch of stuff.
No,
that
we
you guys
wanted
already
to-
went
This
over-
was
that
the
you already
point.
went
No,
over.
no,
No,
No.
no, we wanted to do
This
this.
is exactly why we have this group here, so.
Let's get it right if we're gonna do it.
Because people are gonna have opinions, so we want to say we really thought about it. All right, that's a good split for you guys?
That's gonna be
Yeah.
purple.
All right. I kind of wondered about that because that looked like a pretty dense field when we were doing that. All right, any more spots? And we are still got roughly 10 minutes here.
Stovers was good. Did you guys figure that out?
Yes, his
Yep.
wharf is inside
Cool.
the high intensity area.
Start talking.
That looks good to everyone.
And if you guys want, rather than doing giant maps, I can print regular size maps with these updates on them if that works. Or do we need to have other full-size maps? What does staff think?
So,
Since it's an official kind of thing.
it doesn't matter on size, obviously.
That's you.
We want to have something available for the public.
Right,
But they can put it online.
Right.
So, and then Kathy's gonna have to have a sheet that's certified by her, the clerk's
Right.
office. Even though majority of this is gonna live on GIS.
right. She'll need a snapshot of
So
it.
it can be a poster, it can be, I mean, I think it can be either size.
Okay. I mean, we could have Filling Center just redo
Just
the
the
one
one.
poster
Yeah.
with these updates. That-
Right.
I would do that.
Okay.
And so I guess I interrupted and dragged us to this while we were just finishing up the definitions. So,
I think we get I think we got the map definitions, now we're just
Alright.
discussing a preamble maybe for the
Oh, right,
intent and
that's kinda
purpose
where
of
we
why
were
we
at.
did all
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
Or a memo to staff, I don't know, however you guys want to handle it.
We probably don't have enough time to do it in 7 minutes, but
We could,
I think we should have something that gives a little bit of a explanation of what we did. I mean, people can read the minutes, but maybe Matt can communicate it, I don't really know.
I can come up with something, a preamble, that why we did it, and that we'll be doing it once a year.
I mean, someone at some point is gonna be upset with it, and they're gonna want to, like, why was this done? And
Right,
Yeah.
come to our meetings,
No, it was
Join the
done,
fun.
And
yeah.
we're in it now, so we know why we're doing it.
right,
In 2 years, we're gonna be like, why did we do that?
yep.
Ice ocean uses have increased.
I mean, we jumped numbers by 2 on.
I know,
a
that was
good number of spots.
stressing for you, I remember, you were,
Well, are we all happy with the map, at least?
as it sits right
As
now.
it sits right now, we should vote to approve it. Can I get a motion?
Well, do you want to wait until after our workshop to?
No, because
I
we
think
should
we can
approve it as
approve
our
it.
own committee.
And then they can have
Then
another
they
look.
can have their time, so.
Okay.
David, well, you motion, do I have a second?
Sure, a second.
Okay,
Any discussion?
Nope.
Looks like we're all happy with it.
Great.
Unanimous. What about the definitions? We're all happy with that.
Go back to that real quick,
yep.
please.
You want the screen back, Paul? Hang on a minute. Oh, I thought, I
Probably
have to
did
forget
the-
it.
You could do the wireless. Oh,
Oh,
there you go.
there we go.
Now we just gotta show up and vote. Get it passed.
I think it will pass.
Well, now, I mean, now that while we're looking at this, what is, where,
Yeah, who did he talk to you guys? Like, what did,
well, no, see, I just wanna share with you that in the, of our meeting, first I was, well, during something that I've been asking the department to do, large scale, very long time, and that was 90 states. We're so close to one.
What, I'm not even sure what you're talking about. What do we,
One
up by Bombazine?
east of Bombsy.
okay.
And I've been to I've been to a scoping session, I've been to another meeting. I look on their application right now, there was, never no talk of, 5,280 baskets gonna go on this footprint. I had to squeeze him to share this building that he wants to put in the middle of it, and that amount of gear creates a lot of fouling. That's gonna be a lot of biological waste being dumped right there.
Is it surface or is it bottom?
No, it's
planted?
both.
Okay, the mix.
When he first came to me, he pitched, I wanna grow on the bottom. But the more we got into discussion, no, the interest is top culture.
Is his application actually written, or is this still in, I
Yeah,
mean, it's gotta be
Yeah,
a
yeah,
Yeah, you
thing
can
up
look it
there.
up, but
Yep.
there was never no talk for over 5,000 of the new type of gear. Yeah, Hexel.
Oh, they're those little weird octagon baskets.
Yep, 5,280 of them, year round, all year. 500 cages, grow cages, 500 soft mesh bags, 500 rigid mesh bags. You realize the amount of plastic that's going within that footprint?
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry, what steps from here on out will the town take where the marine resource opposed?
Well, that's,
Paul, or-
we can talk about that. That was gonna be under new business, is what steps this group, because once we finish this mapping and the definitions, that was kind of our task that the board gave us to do, so we're kind of done. But my idea was to go back to the board, the similar proposal that we proposed a year or so ago that started this group, kind of a fisheries knowledge group that kind of had a similar composition to what we have now, somebody from every fisheries,
Yeah.
And we would take the aquaculture leases and from Harbor and Waterfront, and they'd go through that committee instead, where there'd be fishermen on that committee, and they could also help the fisheries with different, they could look at any ordinance that's gonna affect the fisheries, they could review, they could work on supporting the fisheries, like, there used to be a festival around here that the fishing families put on. There, you remember that? You know, something like that, you know, work with the recreation committee, is that something that people on this committee would have an interest, or would they rather see this dissolved?
I mean,
I think there's
I
a
cer-
need for us, kind of, to, if we're gonna do this
Yeah.
work,
Yeah.
we can't just drop the
specifically,
ball and walk away.
specifically as it pertains to aquaculture, I mean, you know, I mean,
But we're not always gonna have leases, so I think there's other tasks that group can
There's not
do.
always gonna be leases. There always,
Yeah.
there always is. I mean,
You got a lot of leases
LPAs
coming in
and
front
leases,
of
I
us.
mean,
Yeah,
how many, they all go before the Harbor and Waterfront Committee now, like, how many meetings?
Well, I mean, the town
They're
can
not.
choose to
Almost
have.
every meeting.
Right, so, and, you know, and then ideally, you know, the legislative work will hopefully get done, or the not legislative work, the rulemaking work within DMR, they were talking about hopefully by the summer, right? Make those rule changes to require that an experimental lease also get approval or seek.
Do a pre-application
Right.
meeting, yeah.
And so, like, so hopefully, at that point, like, yeah, all of those LPAs, experimental leases, standard leases, have an you know, this group could have an opportunity to work with the applicant at an early stage in the process where hopefully avoid,
I think that would be the
Yeah.
group's main task, you know,
right,
going forth, but I still think there would be room for other stuff that the group could do, and, because there are times when you only get one application, it's pretty cut and dry, one way or the other, you know? So I just don't wanna, I think there needs to be other uses for the group besides just aquaculture if it's gonna move ahead, you know, and that's the only reason I mentioned some of the other stuff. You know, I mean, there's other stuff that the fisheries need besides just
Oh, yeah.
the aquaculture stuff, so I think that's something that group could work on. I think we have a fairly good composition, you know, where we got people from different fisheries, we got a business owner, we got the harbor master, you know, and
No, we should ball rolling. I mean, anything that entails, you know, our input coming from fisheries.
yeah,
well, you got
Here
that,
right now because of concerned fishermen.
Right.
There was others that were comfortable with the way the ball was rolling, the way the department was doing things. This all stemmed from concerned fishermen.
right. How do you feel about that, Billy, being the chair of the Harbor and Waterfront Committee? Are you okay, or what's your say on you guys reviewing the aquaculture lease? How do you feel about it?
No, I think it's a smart move. I don't think we necessarily have the expertise at times to really, we have to go out, you know, I always ask people, you know, go out, ask a fisherman, like, what do you think about this? Like, having people that are fishermen on a committee, you know, this map, this work galvanizes this. I think it makes it so it would make sense for us to move forward. Like this, we've done the map, we've done the work, we've got the definition. We want to continue to work and update the map. I think it makes sense to continue and shepherd this thing through and to continue. I think it makes sense.
I'll make that pitch to the board then, because that will happen when we approve all this stuff, and I'm assuming, does everybody want to be a member?
Yeah.
Yeah.
and we have that carrying capacity work,
Right.
right, that's kind of ongoing.
Yeah.
Still.
There's not a lack of things to
And
do.
we can, when we get stuff like that study back from the carrying capacity, depending on the results, you know, there may be something that we want to, an ordinance or something, you know, that may happen to limit aquaculture in certain places, or even allow it to expand if it happens to go the other way.
Yeah.
You know, and we can talk about that, stuff like that, when we get the results from studies like that and stuff. I think the group as a whole is needed within the town, just a fisheries group to kind of advise the town on
And
fishery
it's not,
business.
I mean, it's still in the future, I mean, the more people that get to put in, you know, have input on things like this, the better. I mean, I don't even know, like, you know, I would think it would be great for the Harbor and Waterfront Committee to continue to, you know, I mean, the more eyeballs on stuff like that in order to try and minimize, negative impacts and conflicts better. So
Was
I don't
it eight of
necessarily think,
Jerry's missing.
I mean, I think it'd be great if they continued to review them and
on the
that,
committee.
Yep.
because,
Probably
and,
odd
we've
nine.
created this tool for everybody, and so they, would have access to that like anybody else to be able to make better decisions on. things
Probably a
too.
group like this is actually what's needed in most towns to handle all of the stuff that's going on. Like, that's what's missing, is a group of stakeholders to start at the beginning like we're doing and try and, suss out problems before they're actually problems as much as possible. I still think
Yeah.
you're gonna have a few that slide through that will have to get dealt with another way, but
Yeah, no, it's
Right.
great, because I've listened to guys kick and scream at, Lobster Zone Council meetings since I went on it, I don't know, 7 years ago, something. Trying to work with DMR on it was just like pounding your head against a brick wall, and, but it was just it's been a consistent theme the entire time I've been on that council, just comes up. And then it, goes away and gets quiet and it comes up again. So it's really cool to have an opportunity to deal with it on a more local level and actually be able to.
Yeah, when they came down and talked to us, she said it's important that you have this tool. Now you have to use the tool. So I think it's important for this group to really do that work. This application, we're going to use this tool to look at the application above board and really, approve it or not approve it or give her input. But I mean, this map doesn't say yes or no. It just says, let's look into it, or
And it gives us evidence and data if Paul has to say
Yeah.
no, like this is why.
yeah,
All right,
there has to be a reason,
I think we got a pretty good plan going forward then. Any public comment? I don't think there's any. I adjourn this meeting at 4:34 and we have the workshop now with the Harbor Waterfront folks. Your turn, Billy.
Thank you.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. Come on up. You guys are,
Yeah. Yes, you'll be able to.
No,
you guys, no,
no,
we're
yes,
all
no,
staying.
we're staying together.
We're all staying
I
together.
didn't know if I should.
It's a party.
No,
No.
no, you
Yeah.
showed up first. You get the prime time seat. I do have to run to the bathroom.
Yeah, once it's approved, it'll be available on the town's website at least.
Yep, you guys can click a button for each layer, shut stuff off.
Well,
And if
it'll
the,
be hopefully available before it's approved for people to see as well.
Yes.
That would be important.
yeah.
Well, right. To,
Yeah, do you want it as a web app
but
before the meeting, or just?
You want people to
Yeah.
be able to see it, to see like, okay, do I want to vote yes or no in this?
right, as far as that goes, but not. I mean, we kind of certainly like advertising it for the sake of people, figuring out whether they want to vote yes or no on it. But we can't really advertise it as a tool for, say, applicants yet necessarily,
yet. I
because
think
it hasn't.
we
because
need to
hasn't been
approve it
approved. So it's
first.
like,
Yeah.
it,
Is
yeah,
it- here's our
it'll be
vision.
available, but
Yeah.
not for the purpose of
Yeah.
of using, because nobody's approved it yet.
Yeah.
So
An update to the waters classification.
right, a draft update, right?
We don't have to record the
don't-
workshop, do we?
Yeah.
We don't have to.
We're hoping at the June
We don't have to record the workshop.
what
June
meeting?
10 or whenever the warrant or the ballots are going to
Okay.
the school board, the school budget.
Makes it easier. We don't have mics for it.
You know how to turn it on? It's not how to turn it off.
You guys, let's go around the room and introduce ourselves so that the Harbor Waterfront Committee.
I'm Matt Gilly.
He's on everything.
Can I get an autograph?
They don't pay me enough.
Come on, man.
I'm Billy Saxton, I'm on the Aquaculture Group, Harbor Waterfront Committee.
Rose Price, Harbor Waterfront.
Chris McIntyre, Culture Working Group.
David Wilson, Aquaculture Working Group.
Jason Hillman, Harbor Waterfront.
Mm.
maps up on the walls. Yeah, just so they know that the,
Yeah, let's
Where
do
we have
definitions.
them up.
Right.
Did we change any of the other definitions?
we didn't touch the other ones, but so essentially, type 5 waters is something added. Represents fishing. We mapped out the lobster, scallops, fish weirs, and rockweed areas. And so we're calling all of those areas that are mapped out here type 5 waters. Definition. Well, Chris back there.
Go back. Go. Put on the map.
Well,
Well,
Aquaculture was.
oh, right, because kelp is, I don't know that there's any commercial wild kelp farming. There is seaweed harvesting, which
Yeah.
was recorded, right? Right, so there's wild rockweed harvesting recorded.